Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to another video from Astroluck. Today I'm going to talk about Jupiter and Saturn conjunction on 21st December 2020, which happened yesterday. And I just wanted to make this video only for a reason that I saw a lot of astrologers making this video from a perspective of individual future, like how this conjunction will have effect on individuals from transit point of view. For some reason I don't follow such kind of videos because find it very hard for a simple reason to understand that everyone's chart is so unique that it is little difficult to give accurate prediction. But yeah, on a global level, how things will work on a global level, it is something that is very much possible with this transit, and I wanted to work on that. But if you want me to see your personal chart and predict something based on transit or something else, visit my website astroluck.com, and I can help you with that, help you understand your birth chart, and help you understand what are the problems in your chart and how you can break some patterns in your chart. That is totally different issue. And another shout out to watch the COVID-19 astrological video which I posted somewhere in March or April, 7 months back. And in that video, I actually made a prediction that during the December solar eclipse, there would be a vaccine which would have a lot of side effects. And we have a vaccine now available in the market, which they are, of course, giving to healthcare workers on priority right now and senior citizens. But then there is a vaccine available around solar eclipse, and we also have a lot of news about side effects of these vaccine. So just not to boast about myself, because if I had to do that, I would have posted a lot of things about this, but just to tell you how accurate astrology can be and how one can predict global events based on astrology. That is something that uh, is more important than. I'm just a medium. I don't care about how many views. Only 300 views were there to that video. So if I had to really boast about it, then I would have done a different strategy to actually make sure that thousands and thousands of people would have watched that. But I really don't care who watches these videos or not. But then I really wanted to bring that out, that astrology works and predictions do work on a larger level. So, coming back to Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, so I also heard astrologers saying that Saturn being in its own house, whether you go for sidereal zodiac or tropical zodiac, Jupiter is going to be in its own house. In the sidereal system, it will be in Capricorn, and Saturn will be in its own house, and Saturn will be powerful. And tropical zodiac, Saturn will be in Aquarius, and it will be in its own house, and it will be very strong. Doesn't matter. For global event predictions, I prefer to follow tropical zodiac. So I'm going to use tropical zodiac for this video, but then it doesn't matter. People said that Jupiter tend to lose its strength when it's in the houses of Saturn or either Capricorn or Aquarius, and it will lose its strength, and it will not have its good qualities of bringing hope. It will not have its good qualities of bringing prosperity. But then Saturn will overpower, putting its restrictions and putting its limitations. And I'm going to prove you from the charts that I'm going to show you now that it's not going to work in that way. And there are a lot of other planets also getting involved here. So First of all, Saturn enters Aquarius on 17th, and when Saturn is entering Aquarius, it's entering in the third house, which is natural zodiac of Gemini, third house, and but then uh, it's also entering in Aquarius because natural 11th house, because Saturn has to transit through Aquarius now for next 2.5 years. So what is the quality of third house? Third house actually brings control back in our hands. It is eighth from eighth house. So eighth house is a house of death and calamities. So pandemic is a very good example of that. And Saturn is entering Aquarius with an agenda, setting an agenda for next 2.5 years. The agenda is to bring control back to humanity. Pandemic is has taken away that control from the humanity. So that is something that is very bad for humanity, and Saturn, being the judge, wants to do the right thing, wants to bring back the control to humanity, hoping that humans would use this opportunity in a wise way. And that is something that we will have to understand, that all the other planets are now setting an agenda, training us right now to bring back spiritual aspect more in our life, to use this opportunity in next 2.5 years to bring the control back in a very positive way and retain it for a very long time. That's what the agenda is, and I'm going to show you how, and it's going to happen. Just remember this fact that Saturn is entering Aquarius right now with an agenda to support humanity to get control back in their hands. So Saturn is working as a liberator right now, not as a restrictor. So what is sorry, I have just jumped a few slides. What is happening on 19th? Jupiter is entering Aquarius, and coincidentally it's happening in 11th house. And it's also the 11th zodiac. Aquarius is 11th zodiac, so it is very strong. And 11th house is all about your networks, your elder siblings, and somewhere elderly people to a certain extent. Because why I'm talking about elderly people and father figure and all those things, because you see a lot of activity going on in the ninth house, and a lot of planets will get involved from ninth house perspective in the later slides on later dates. So I somehow interpret this as that Jupiter is entering the whole equation for, just to tell you that Jupiter would stay in Aquarius for 1 year. It will briefly go to Pisces in May, and for 1 month, and then come back in Aquarius and stay in Aquarius for the entire year. So the whole year, more or less, Jupiter is going to stay in Aquarius. So Jupiter is entering Aquarius with an agenda of spreading spirituality from human to human level. So the way I see you, or you see me, or the way you see your friends and I see my friends, it will change now next 1 year. The spiritual aspect will be more dominant, and the materialistic aspect and the rivalry aspect, the jealousy aspect will slowly start fading away, which will make things little more pleasant, little more uh, humbling, and little more supportive of seeing humanity more closely, seeing humans as humans, not stepping stones for one's material success. So that's the agenda Jupiter is bringing to the whole equation. Just to remind you that they are not conjunct yet. We are still on 19th, and Saturn has the agenda of bringing control back to humanity. So they are conjuncting together on 21st of December. Again, it's happening in ninth house. So I told you ninth house is very important for these events, and ninth house is the house of spirituality. It is house of elderly people's guidance. So somewhere Saturn will bring its qualities of restricting the guidance of elderly people, and I'll tell you the reason why it's happening and what is happening and how it's happening when I talk about more planets joining this equation in next couple of minutes. But then uh, we have seen a whole era or a century of capitalism now, starting from first world war, then second world war, and a very increased hike in capitalism. We have seen that very clearly in last so many years, and our elderly people are trained with that mindset. Our political leaders are trained with that mindset. So the Saturn will bring that restriction, that we don't need that mindset anymore. The purpose of capitalism is over in this world. So Saturn will exercise its restriction in that way right now. But then it will work out in a very beautiful way. And Jupiter will support that, will expand that restriction for the global level, that we don't need that capitalism, we don't need such kind of things. But then people born anywhere from 1930s to possibly 1980s are somehow trained in that way, that they would have no other choice but to compete with each other and step over each other to find their own success. People are trained in that way, and not to blame them, but that's how the society worked in the past. But now things will get restricted, and that ideology will get challenged in a very drastic way next 1 year. On 8th of January, Mercury joins there. Mercury is a kind of quality. It is a younger person. So Mercury denotes all the young people in the society, and Mercury joins the equation again in the 11th house. 11th house is all about networking and uh, developing a connection with people around you. And so Mercury, yeah, the younger people will take a lot of effort in communicating spirituality and trying to challenge the age old ideology of capitalism. So that's how it will work out. And Mercury will be doing that in a very uh, mysterious way, because suddenly you'll see that younger people around 18 years old or 20 years old, uh, starting from 15 years to 25 years, that age bracket, people in that age bracket, you'll see that these people have suddenly become very neutral. They don't want to take sides, they don't want to pick sides, they don't want to pass any judgment. They want to be just a silent observer, and they don't want to participate in thoughts that or conversations that provoke uh, hatred. They just want to uh, very diplomatically let go of such conversations. You will see a pattern that will get developed in the next few days. The whole idea is to bring back control to humanity and train spirituality, right? So the younger people will actually work very hard to do that. So moving on 19th of January, we see that Sun is entering the equation. Sun is entering Aquarius 19th of January, and it's entering in the sixth house. Sixth house is the house of health. Last year when the eclipse happened in the sixth house, there were so many planets again in the same position, triggering pandemic. And here, this year, seeing this chart independently, I might just say that again a major health issue will crop up. But I don't have that kind of feeling. What I feel, because Saturn has entered here with an agenda to bring control, to bring death to death, and pandemic is a kind of mass scale death. So to bring death to mass scale death, that is what I'm seeing here. So what I'm seeing here is that although Sun and Saturn very close to each other, is not a very good combination. So it will bring tension. It will and health related tension. Suddenly, people will be very conscious. Around 19th, people will, you'll see those kind of conversations coming into picture, and it will there till 31st of January, and suddenly that tension about health issues and all those things will also fizzle out. That is not something that will stay very long, but then it will be there. But as and when Sun will transit over Jupiter by the end of January, you will see that there would be a slow and progressive realization that this pandemic is going to come to an end very quickly, and people will start getting hope. The people will start getting optimism, but then people will also understand that there's a lot of patience required because it will work out slowly and steadily. Then we see on 30th of January, Mercury goes retrograde in ninth house. That's when you will see that the younger crowd, 15 to 25 age group, will strongly unite themselves in terms of spirituality in a very mysterious way, although they themselves would be not aware that they are so aligned with each other in their friend circle on a spiritual level. But then they, on a subconscious level, you will see that people are getting very aligned with each other, at least the younger crowd, and this will also bring a lot of tensions to the establishments, political establishment, elderly people in power in various capacities, because they have reached to their positions with different ideology, and then they see that the younger crowd, the future of the country or the vote banks of the country who actually bring these people into power, are changing their ideology, and it will be quite visible after the retrograde is over. It will be quite visible to those political establishments, and then you will see that there might be some stress going on that front, but that is something which will manifest very late in 2022 and 2023. That is something, it's out of scope to discuss right now. But then the whole agenda is that the younger crowd will get united on a subconscious level, on 5D, fifth dimension, as a lot of light workers like to say. But then I see that on a day to day life, people won't even realize it. So it is a very subconscious thing. But then on 2nd February, you see that Venus is also joining whole host of planets in ninth house. So Venus is all about bringing comfort, bringing ease, luxury. So the whole tension that was almost getting triggered on 30th of January, because Mercury suddenly went retrograde, and uh, there was a whole lot of uh, confusion how to get aligned with each other on a subconscious level, which was happening. Venus will ease it out. It will happen in a very uh, natural way, but also there would be some kind of less stress, because it will start from a superficial level, and slowly it will become more stronger as Mercury and Venus will trigger these thoughts, and they'll move on very quickly. These are fast moving planets. Excuse me. These are fast moving planets, so they will move on, but then what will happen is that the agenda will still continue and keep working through Saturn and Jupiter. They'll continue to stay in Aquarius. And on 18th, Sun will move away from Aquarius to Pisces. Venus is also going to move away very quickly, but on 18th we also see that Mercury will become direct. So Mercury, Venus, Sun, slowly they will keep moving out of Aquarius by end of February, and we will see that Jupiter and Saturn will continue to stay there and keep on working on this agenda for next 1 year, at least from Jupiter's point of view, and in 2.5 years from Saturn's point of view. Having said that, Sun left Aquarius and moved from 10th house to 11th house, which is like somewhere there. I see that from 18th February there would be a realization that the financial structures as we see, the capitalism as we see now, will start facing some challenges, and it will continue to grow very slowly next 2.5 years. It will again trigger again when Sun will revisit Aquarius next year, and when it will again join forces with Saturn, then it will become little more stronger. So for next 1 year, it would be like very small, tiny steps will be taken towards bringing challenges to the financial structures and capitalist corporates, and political issues will just, the groundwork will happen. It will not be that you will start to see that a huge change in the way corporates are working, but you'll see that somewhere there would be a tension building up uh, throughout the year. So I think I'll stop here. I don't want to emphasize more on the negative aspects, but that's this is a good place to stop the reading. And thank you so much. Do let me know how you feel about this video and this uh, how things will turn out in future. As in, when you observe something, please come back to this video and leave your comments. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye bye.